Have you ever accidentally broken a mosaic and wondered if it could be fixed? In today's video, I'll show you how I repair 2 mosaics and how you can too. Let's get to it. Welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Julie, and for over 20 years I've owned a mosaic art and lifestyle studio here in Miami called Mosaic Madness. I create art for clients as well as teach students just like you how to create mosaics for your home, family, and friends. On this channel, we discuss specific projects, tips, tricks, hand tools, power tools, adhesives, and materials, all to shorten your learning curve when it comes to creating mosaic art. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Repairing a mosaic isn't exactly exciting, but accidents happen, right? So it would be nice to know how to fix a mosaic should this ever happen to you. So how can a mosaic be fixed? We don't have to knock off all the tile pieces in order to fix the mosaic. Now, let me just say, not all mosaics can be fixed. The majority can. It's kind of how much money are you willing to spend, because it is expensive to fix a mosaic. It can be. My first piece of advice when you've discovered that a mosaic has broken is to make sure you gather all of the pieces that may have broken off. You want to try to find the mosaic artist that created your piece, and that's for a few reasons. Number one, that artist is the most familiar with that piece. They know how it was created, if there was anything special that needed to be done to the substrate, and also if there were any special pieces that had to be created for that mosaic, that artist will know how to go about getting replacement pieces. And I'll also say, mosaic artists really don't want somebody else touching their work. And I think that's true for a lot of artists. So you want to give the mosaic artist that created that piece the opportunity to fix it for you. And as I mentioned, it can be expensive to repair a mosaic. So in the process, you'll want to assess how much did you spend for the piece versus how much is it going to cost to fix it. And in the case of one of the pieces that I'm going to show you today, it was more sentimental value than money value. It just so happens that in the studio right now, I have 2 broken mosaics that belong to clients, and these pieces are in need of repair. So when I first receive a piece into the studio in need of repair, I obviously look it over for the point of impact. What is the most obvious break? A lot of the times, it's not just the point of impact where there maybe is a tile missing or an obvious break. Oftentimes, hairline breaks can happen in glass or in the material or in the grout. And so I will look over the front and the back, and a lot of the times I'll even get a magnifying glass out to see if there are any hairline fractures. So the first piece for repair was knocked off a bathroom wall. So as you can imagine, the mosaic hit tile floor. It's obvious that the point of impact was on a corner, and thankfully no tiles were knocked off, but upon further inspection, there are some tiles loose, and there's some grout loose, and there are hairline fractures in the grout. So I went in with some weld bond and glued down areas of loose tile. Not so worried about the grout because I'm going to show you how we fill in the grout, but I wanted to make sure that the tiles were now firmly back adhered to the substrate. The second piece that I'm repairing today is mosaic surgery. A color block coaster, which I keep in inventory. They're very popular. I've got it taped together. It's in multiple pieces. My coasters are often made on a ceramic base with glass on top. Definitely it's been broken into 3 pieces. Again, it hit a tile floor. And it's going to be sort of a puzzle trying to get it back together as a square. I'm going to have to figure that one out. I couldn't glue this back together and grout it and be done with it. The integrity of the piece could use a little reinforcement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it onto what is called a wood blank. I've painted one side white, and I'll tell you why in a second. But it's a wood blank. It's thin, but it's thick. I'm going to glue the tile. You see it's slightly smaller than the back of the tile. I'm going to put the tile back together on this thin piece of wood, and it's not going to bulk it up very much, and it's going to give it some new life. So I'll glue it on here, let it sit, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to grout it like usual. Now we've got ourselves a little situation in that the sentimental value. This was given to the client as a guest favor at a wedding, and so it's got a little message on the back from the bride and the groom. So what I want to do is I'm going to remove the tape from the back, and I'm going to photograph the back and then go about gluing the coaster on to the wood blank. And then I'll print out my picture and I will glue it onto the back of the wood blank so that the client still has her little message. It will be almost as good as new. Okay, so I've taken the picture of the back, so that is done. So I'm going to start gluing the coaster onto the wood blank. We're ready to grout the wall art. I've mixed up a batch of white grout to match what's already on the piece. And if you're curious how I mix up small batches of grout, I'll put a link in the description card, and you'll want to go to the grouting chapter of that video. So I just put some grout in the area. I'm going to concentrate on the front of this piece first, and then I'll move to the back. And I'm just going to smooth grout all over, sort of like re-grouting the piece that I get everywhere. I have reinforced all of the broken areas. Either I flaked off the loose grout or glued on any tile pieces that seemed loose to me. And I'm grouting on a piece of wax paper, and that will keep the newsprint from transferring onto the grout since it's a light color. And I'm just being really gentle with everything. And whether there was a hairline fracture or not, I'm going over everything. And now the grout will all be one color and it'll all look good as new. I'm just gonna let this sit here for about 10 minutes and then I'll come back and clean it off. For the wall art, the repair was pretty minimal. All I had to do was reinforce some of the loose tiles and flake off the loose grout and then re-grout the whole thing. And I think it turned out great. The coaster was much more involved. I realized that the client had tried to glue the tile back together, and so I needed to remove that dried glue before I could start my repair. Considering that mosaic surgery took place, I think it turned out really well. Question of the day: have you ever repaired a mosaic? And if so, how did it turn out? Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And also ring the bell notification so you never miss a single upload. And finally, if there's a subject you'd like for me to cover in a future video, I hope you'll leave it down below in the comments as well. See you soon. Bye. I'm excited. And I don't know. Start over. No, you're not creating, you're fixing. But also, what's my second point here? Oh yeah, tools, no. Hello? I already got this part anyways. We'll use whatever I've got. Hi, how are you? So good to see you. Thank you for joining me. And I've already said that. What's the word? For that.